Hey, what's going on? What if I told you that there was this fun little secret melodic tool that you can put into your music that will make your music sound better like almost every time? And there's more than one way to use it. You can kind of use it however you want. Well, there is. That's the whole reason I'm doing this. It's called a sequence. It's awesome. It sounds so good. It's everywhere. Yeah, check out this melody that I wrote a few weeks ago for Christmas, taking Christmas from John Williams from Harry Potter Christmas time. And you just listen to this for a second. We'll talk about it, how it all works. I guess I should probably define a sequence for you before doing the whole thing. Well, here's the deal. A sequence is when we take a series of intervals, and intervals are just a definition for a definition. Isn't this starting out great? All a sequence is when we take a musical idea and we just move it up or move it down. That's literally all it is. It can be 2 notes, it can be 3 notes, it could be 8 notes, it can be a whole idea, it can be just a few notes, right? So this is very versatile. You can do this with basically anything. Now, I did the whole sequence thing in this Christmas melody that I stole from John Williams' Harry Potter theme. So take a listen to it, see if you can notice, even visually, when I'm doing something the same but lower or higher, all right? Spoiler alert, they're freaking everywhere in here. Yeah, I know, whimsical as hell. Go and check out that video that I did when I wrote this. The sequences are everywhere, and they sound great. They're a primary reason why this sounds great, in fact. First sequence coming up, literally the first measure. We have this G going down to an E, and then immediately this F going down to a D, right? So those are both thirds. G down to E, that's a third. F down to D, that's another third, and they're right next to each other. You can literally see this first note going down, just one note down to the F. Sequence, in action, right there, for these slurred quarter notes. Next one, we have a repeat of it, a whole other bar of it. That's the third bar. It's right over there. It's nuts, right? So also, we're going to be using things like this. That's going to come back, like over here, and that's going to be sequenced at 1.2. This isn't sequenced over here. This is something different. This is what's called a tail. In the most simplistic terms there is, that's just a tail, right? So a tail means that you have a head attached to it. All we're doing here is we're establishing a head, and then we kind of end that in a little half place here. This da-da, right? Feels very half cadency because it is. Then we play it again, and then we do a whole cadence. This is straight out of classical form, but it works, and it's still used today in popular music, film music, just everywhere. Good music, objectively good sounding music will do this kind of thing. So use it, do the thing. Create a head, and then slap it off with a tail. It could be just one note difference. So where are these other sequences I was talking about? Well, we got another one right here. But this one is a little bit trickier, these sequences here. So now I'm taking these little rhythmic objects, see the quarter notes, the quarter notes, the eighth notes, and this 2/16 to an eighth note here. Now I'm taking each of those objects and I'm sequencing those individually. But it's still the same sequence because it's all utilizing the same intervals from within the object itself. Let me explain. E going down to C, that's another third. Anytime you're skipping a note and going right to the next note, it'll literally look like skipping a line for another space to a space, line to a line. That's always a third. It sounds great. Use thirds. They're fantastic. So that's a third, another one. In fact, I'm kind of even already doing it again in the exact same way. It starts on a G, then sequenced down by a step to an F. This one starts on an E, sequenced down, but in different rhythmic values here. We're quarter notes down to eighth notes with a staccato instead of a slur. Way different, but still technically a sequence if you really want to go down that path there. Next, this part, these 2 eighth notes are also sequenced. They're over here, see, in bar 15. Even this whole bar is kind of whole sequenced right there. Not only is the bar sequenced, but also the constituent parts of the bar, those are also sequenced. So this little middle part here, D to B, another third, looky there, right here, G to E, just like the very beginning, right there. sequenced up. So this little middle part is sequenced up compared to bar 14, going by a fourth there. D starting here, and then G up here. But it's still a third going down. That's the object. These 2 eighth notes with a third descent. Next thing that's being sequenced right here, right? These the slurred 2/16 notes with the staccato on the eighth note, that is sequenced up by a third. There it is. Boom. Ba-da-da. So how do you actually write this? Well, it's really not hard. Check this out. I'm literally just going to take this, right? Especially in something Sibelius like this. Just take that, right? I'm going to just hit R now to repeat the whole thing. Go down 1. R it again. Go down 2. R again. Go down 3, right? And listen to this little fun sequence. You've heard that sound before, right? Not these individual notes, but the feeling of a pattern ascending or descending. Let's hear the same thing, but now it's going to go up, right? So we started on E, and that's going to go to F. That's going to go to G. And that's going to go to A. Let's see how it sounds. Right? Same sound, same pattern, but now rising up instead of before it was going down. Crazy. Learn to listen for this in music that you already listen to. It's everywhere and it's there, I promise you. Listen for it, get to know it by ear, internalize this sensation of a pattern going up and going down, because boy, is it powerful and plays such an important part in composing music. Think about composing music like a puzzle, except normally with puzzles, you're given all of the pieces already and you have to put them together. With composing music, we have to compose the pieces as well as the puzzle itself to put together, right? But that's a really cool thing because you can make, well, cool sounding sounds in music. And the same thing goes for songwriters as well, writing music in general. It's like a puzzle that we make the pieces for. That's something that's the way I like to think about it, at least. So that's how easy it is to write a sequence. In fact, we can make this even easier. By easier, I mean harder. If we go down and then it goes up, and then this one's gonna go down again, but where the first one was, and then same thing here. Notice how it's just a pattern that I'm then putting into another pattern. You can think like this and see what stuff comes out. Experiment like this. But always, whenever you're doing real music writing and not just fun sandbox experimenting, always follow your ear. Even here, always follow your ear. But what we're doing now is finding things that our ear likes that it's going to then ingest and digest and internalize so that it will show it to you later in the form of new music that you're trying to write. That's where we get those ideas from the music that we listen to, that we've ever listened to, as well as the fun experiments and discoveries that we make when writing at our instrument or at Sibelius or in a DAW. Cool? Cool. That would be a great texture for another melody to sit on top of. That's not necessarily a great melody in and of itself, but it is a great example of how a sequence can be used to create good sounding music. That sounded good. It isn't finished. It would need an ending, but it's good, right? All right. That's all I have for you today. Be gone. Wait, but before you go, check out my free training, 7 Ways to Write a More Effective Melody. It'll help you do that, the thing I said, and it'll help you make them more memorable too, because memorable melodies are effective melodies, correct? I know. So you can go and check that out at justwritemusic.com. There's a picture up there right now with a boy. A finger that's pointing to the domain. So you can go and check that out. It's a free training for you that I made. Once you're done there, I don't know, come back here and hang out, hit subscribe, hit the bell, maybe like a couple videos. I don't know, stick around, let's have some fun. All right. Well, thanks so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. I'm Avi. Don't forget to be awesome.